What up, though, One Pride? This is the Roar of the Lions UK podcast, the podcast where One Pride goes worldwide. My name is Anthony Fitzpatrick. I'm joined this evening by Ryan McCluskey. It is a Wednesday evening, which can only mean one thing. We are here for the college football podcast, Florida International Love. Ryan, we are just a mere couple of weeks away from the college football season now. We are one day away from Detroit Lions football, been back. Football season, we're pretty much there, baby. We've nearly made it.
Yep, like I say, even in the tiniest of crumb pre-season, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's something. And it will give us a glimpse of just a crumb of what we're going to see in the near future. And yeah, college football, the real stuff is literally on the doorstep now. So all these spring games, all these games, like I say, it's come to fruition. You've got to know what you're doing and who you're starting this time within the next 10 to 12 days.
Yep, and as we've seen, there are injuries already happening, which are threatening team seasons. There's investigations going on. There's suspensions. There's dismissals. I mean, this thing's already kicked off. So there's a lot to go through today. So what we're gonna do today. Sunbelt preview we are going to finish. That will be next week now because I was rushing through it today and I'm like, nah, I'm rushing it. It's not going to be any good. So I'll give myself a bit more time to do that. We're going to go through some just general college football news today, some bits that have been going on. And then for a little bit of fun, obviously we talked about the media days last week. We did the media preseason predictions in terms of where they reckon teams are going to finish in the conferences. This week we're going to look at the media predicted teams. So they do like all-star teams for preseason, guys who they think are going to be good. And what we're going to do, we're going to stack the Power Four teams against one another, and we're going to rank them 1 to 4 on who's better. So who's got the best quarterback, who's got the best running backs, who's got the best wide receivers. We'll rank them all out. Each team will have a final score at the end. The one with the lowest score is the best because obviously they'll be ranked number one for everything. So we're just going to have a little bit of fun with that. Let's just get all the housekeeping and stuff out of the way first, and then we'll dive straight down into everything. Road Lions UK Discord, if you want in on that, just let us know. We'll fire you across a link. The main podcast, if you've not checked it out already, please go do so. We had a really good pod this week. We had a roundtable with contributors from British podcasts on all our preseason opponents. So we had a guy from the Giants, guy from the Chiefs, and a guy from the Steelers, and we got to know a little bit about their teams and what they're about coming into the preseason. And then me and Matt went through training camp bits and bobs. So if you're not checked that out, please go do so. Don't forget to like and sub to everything and all that good stuff. Don't forget about Lions Nation Unite, which we are a part of Herman Moore's project to bring together the best in YouTube content creators into one good, easy-to-use app. That is Lions Nation Unite. Don't forget we're a Twitch affiliate. We're monetized on YouTube. We've got a tip jar, all that good stuff. So if you want to help us that way, great. If not, we just love having you in the building. That is the thing we care about the most. There's a feedback form, so if there's anything you want us to do, any shows you want us to do, anything you want to change, whatever, fill it in. We shall take note. And don't forget, we've got the merch store as well. So if you want some Roar Lions UK merch, we'll fire you the link for that as well. You can hop on in there. There's some great stuff. I love my cap they do. We use a really good company for those. And then one final shout out before we start. So this isn't going to go live till tomorrow, but I want to shout out Adam at the One Giant podcast. So keep an eye out for that tomorrow morning. An interview will be going live, me and him chatting Giants and Lions, the preseason game. It's really good stuff. He's got a really good podcast over there. So yeah, check out the One Giant podcast. Keep an eye for me tomorrow. It is really good fun, but appreciate you having me on there, Adam. Right. Let's dive down into it. I think that's all the stuff out the way there, Ryan. And we're going to start off with the important news as we always do. And, you know, title of the show generally reflects what we're going to talk about. And today's title was Florida International Love. And I thought that was a nice little pun on FIU, the Panthers, and a song sung by the guy whose stadium is now going to bear their name. Yes, Armando Christian Perez, otherwise better known by stage name Pitbull, has created history by purchasing the naming rights to the Florida International Panthers Stadium. Over the next 5 years, he will pay the school $1.25 million per year to hold the rights to that stadium name. And there is an option in the deal for him if he wishes to extend this agreement for another 5 years. He's a Miami native, very much involved in things involving his home city, hence why this has happened. So the FIU football stadium will now be known as Pitbull Stadium. And I said it made history. This is the first time a college football stadium will take the name of a musician. So what do the teams get in this deal to make it beneficial for both? So obviously for Florida International, they get the money for the stadium deal, but they also get the exposure from rubbing shoulders with who is a huge star, whether we like him or not. He is money. Pitbull himself is going to create an official anthem for Florida International football as well. So kind of like how LSU got net and stuff like that, FIU are going to get their own version now, done by Pitbull himself. He will post 12 times a year about the school on social media. That may not sound like much, but Pitbull has a following of tens of millions. So the exposure there, even on a limited scale, will be huge for them. And he will be required to attend one athletics fundraising event per year. So hopefully, getting more money for FIU athletics. For what Pitbull himself is going to get, so obviously he gets his name on the side of a stadium, which is good for him. He gets the exposure from that, but he will get use of the stadium for 10 days per year, presumably to use for concerts and whatnot, and he doesn't have to pay a penny, so he'll earn a lot of money back doing that. He also owns Volley Vodka. That will become the preferred brand distributed throughout the stadium for games and events, so he'll sell a lot more of his own brand there. He gets 2 reserved suites for every FIU home game, and there's other undisclosed benefits as well. Quickly talking about this, he says, what we're doing is groundbreaking. We're making history. This is history in the making. You're going to see that every other university is going to want to do the same thing. But the difference is we didn't do this for the propaganda. We do it from the heart. We do it because it's meaningful. We do it because I'm from the crib. I'm 305, the Miami area code. I'm from the bottom. This is my backyard. And as well as all this, he's also going to get involved in the team's NIL efforts as well to give them a boost to what they can offer to players coming in. I mean, Ryan, in a week where we've had some, noticeable partnerships, Deadpool and Wolverine, guys like that, it's now Florida International and Pitbull making the waves going forward.
Oh, I hate it. It's so goofy. I mean, when you weigh up he's winning out of this, isn't he? He can hold like maybe 10 concerts there for what, $1.5 million a year. That's it. Sell his own probably cheap ethanol vodka. I think there's only one winner in this deal, and fair play to Pitbull. It's him. I really don't think they're gonna gain that much out of this. The whole NIL thing, the NCAA clamped down on that. Like, no, it can't be getting involved in that. Like, say, outside forces interfering. That is something I don't take kindly to. This could start a very dangerous precedent. Like, what next? Like, I don't know, the Raw Stadium bought by Katy Perry. Like, it's a snowball effect, and it could take a quick effect. I'm fine with naming rights because, as a Bradford fan, I've got the University of Bradford. It's been the Northern Commercial Stadium. It's been X amount, but it'll always be Valley Parade. Like I say, it's fine. It's just a name, but yeah, it's what it opens doors to. Do we start seeing backhanded deals? Do we see things like that? I hope this isn't going to become a distraction, or I hope in no way it affects the team on the field. Like I say, I'm not saying he's unscrupulous, but I'm saying if he wanted to peddle bootleg liquor through a stadium and, like say, get fans just pissed, and if they start fighting because they're all drinking vodka, like it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. Is anyone else going to do it?
See, this is the thing. I mean, you would like to think he's been changed. Like, he's a Miami lad. So, and for me, while I remain skeptical, I do like the fact that he's chosen one of the lesser teams. He could have gone to like Miami, the Hurricanes, and done this. They don't need more money. They don't need more stuff. So, like, if it can help with fundraising, if it can help out, because we know FIU are one of the smaller teams, it's harder for them to attract talent and stuff. Something like this might just give them that little boost they need to make waves in the CUSA. So it's intriguing. I'm with you. Is someone else going to do it? It does seem surprised that no one else has done it so far, especially for the smaller teams. Just get rights, do something there. I think FIU holds 20,000, that stadium does. So you think 10 concerts, 20,000, that's 200,000 tickets you got there, potentially to sell for your gigs. And I assume, because you can sell more, because you can use the indoor area as well, not just the seats, can't you? So,
Yeah.
like, it's a good deal for him. But,
He's going to make,
this
yeah,
is
he should make
probably,
a return on that pretty easily.
yeah, but I guess FIU will be making more money than they would be before. That's, it's quite a fair, substantial deal for them. And they can get out of it after. It's not like they've done it for 20 years and they're stuck with one another, but it's going to be an interesting experiment to see. So we will keep an eye. But Florida International and Pitbull, they are the power couple apparently going forward down there in the CUSA. Right, let's move it on to some of the other stories. And we're going to talk quickly injuries. So, injuries, part and parcel of college football, part of college football, part of football in general, sorry. But for a couple of teams, there's been some pretty big injuries on the eve of the new season, which are going to be tough for them to deal with at such short notice. The biggest one, Notre Dame. So they've suffered a huge injury loss on the doorstep of the 2024 season. The left tackle, Charles Jagusa, widely tipped to be the next great NFL left tackle to come from the Fighting Irish ranks. He has been ruled out for the entire season with an upper body injury, and that now leaves Notre Dame with a big hole to fill. I mean, if any team's going to sort that, then Notre Dame will, because they're great with their offensive linemen, but he's meant to be something special, and he's done for the year. And then news not long out, Texas, they got problems in the running back room. CJ Baxter has gone down with an injury. It's an LCL/TCL tear, a rough recovery time of 6 to 9 months, which would knock him out for the entire season. That's a big blow for a Texas room, not blessed with depth. They lost Jonathan Brooks to the draft. CJ Baxter was the next guy. He had nearly 700 yards last year in the rotation there. So you're probably going down to Jaden Blue now. He was the running back 3 last year, ran for about 400 yards and a couple of touchdowns. But as we know, right, injuries part and parcel of football, but 2 particularly big ones there. Texas are favored to go to the SEC title game. You need depth in that conference at running back. And for Notre Dame, their offensive line is their bread and butter, and they've just lost one of their stars there, and they need to fix that quick. But 2 big injuries.
Yeah, like I say, Texas incredibly high in the preseason rankings, and CJ Baxter was probably a big reason about that because he showed a lot of flashes last year behind, like you say, the talent that's now gone. And yeah, they're now down to their 3rd string that's going to start, and that's big for them. Like I said, a lot thought they could make an immediate impact, and now, like I say, a guy that's going to take a handful of carries this year's rotational, he's probably going to be taking them all. Like I say, who then is relief from Jaden Blue. So yeah, I think that's a kind of, I think it could derail your season, that kind of injury, losing your star back. And then yeah, Notre Dame, it's the knock-on effect of it's a huge year for Riley Leonard, like you say, and now he's lost his star tackle, a linchpin on the line. And now at this late, like I say, whoever the backup is has to step in straight away, and you've got to be comfortable. Otherwise, you're then swapping a guy on the other side to come over, but then you're filling a hole. So you're always plugging a hole now to lose an offensive lineman. Like I say, that's terrible for him because it'd have been a huge year potentially for future draft stock. So yeah, that's a very worrying line. I was really excited to see Notre Dame this year, especially what Leonard can do, who has had all line trouble in recent years, and he would have felt pretty comfortable behind who he had out of him in front of him. So yeah, that sucks to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's part and parcel, and we're probably going to get more before the season even starts. But
I
hopefully,
feel much more comfortable replacing a running back than I would
yeah,
an offensive lineman. Like if the Lions were to lose, let's say Zeitler or Glasgow, like say for the year right now, I'd have alarm bells. Like, oh God, 3rd
yeah,
stringer starting.
yeah. And, so yeah, you can always replace the running backs easier. So it's a big opportunity for Jaden Blue, though. He can now, Texas, aspirations of winning the SEC. That running back job's his. I think there's quite a young room behind him. So where an injury occurs, opportunity is available. Opportunity knocks, as they say. So we will see what goes on with those situations. In terms of other news, there's been a dismissal in last week. Georgia having more disciplinary issues. The wide receiver, Thomas, has been dismissed from their ranks after he was arrested. He was charged with cruelty to children, family violence, which is a second-degree felony, and two misdemeanor counts of battery, family violence. This kind of, Georgia have been such a good football team under Kirby Smart. It's kind of, it doesn't get talked about much about the disciplinary problems they've had here. I saw the tweet about it. There have been 47 incidents slash arrests for reckless driving, DUI under Kirby Smart, and this was Thomas's second arrest within a year there. I mean, for as good as they've been as a football team on it, they've had a lot of issues off it as well. And yeah, they've lost one, presuming one of the guys they thought was going to step up in Lab McConkey's absence this year, and a couple of the guys they've lost there is now done.
Yeah, and oof, that rap sheet. He's probably going to go. He's going to jail, isn't he? I imagine. Like I say, you don't get away with those things. Like you say, he's probably his football career is done. I reckon at any school. He's so. But yeah, terrible charges. But yeah, it always amazes me how a team they don't cover up, but they do so well, despite like say a team that is so poorly disciplined. They are the Cowboys of like the NFL. Like you say, multiple arrests. Like say and they give guys as many chances as they can, like I say. And I don't put any blame on the staff. You can only control certain factors. All this stuff happens mainly off campus, like I say, in between seasons when they go home. So you can only control so much, and you can't baby them. You can't lock them down. You got to trust them. And yeah, Rara, I think he was a 4 or 5 star recruit a couple of years ago. He was going to expect to take over, but yeah, he's probably done in college football now, and well, he could be looking at, like I say, jail incarceration. But yeah, it sucks for them. Like I say, especially this late season. You never want to dismiss a guy, but with those kind of things, you have to. Like I say, you don't have any choice. And then with the things we've seen happen the last 18 to 2 years, like I say, still players in the NFL and college still drink driving, speeding. Like they have to clamp down on this. I mean, at what point does it become an automatic couple of game suspension if you just pulled over for speeding? If you're caught with DUI, how many games do you get suspended? Like, say, you can't watch them all the time, but do you have to start controlling their lives outside of football as well and punishing them? Because it's only going to end one way, and that's probably unfortunately going to be in the next year or two. It's going to be another tragedy.
I mean, I don't know what college, because I know NFL teams put on travel which it makes it even more baffling that players have access to
Yeah. If they're
transport
drunk or like say they got
anytime.
drink, like say they can get someone to come collect them, can't they? They don't have to
Yeah,
drive. The team will buy them a taxi, so they
yeah,
don't drive.
yeah. So, you shouldn't be able to do that. I don't know what it's like with college, but yeah, it's a long rap sheet. And like a lot of people are comparing them to the '09 Florida team. And it's like, well, actually, when you look at it, yeah, they are. But the trouble, I
I am
guess the thing
watching this.
is,
I'm watching that Swamp documentary on
it's really
Netflix
good,
right
isn't
now
it?
about
It's
oh
really
06,
good,
oh
isn't it?
07.
Yeah, it's
How
really
good they
good.
were, and then like say what happened. Like say that linebacker, like it's crazy.
That's a tremendous documentary, though, and I will recommend anyone worth watching it. And then finishing off the news segment, so we're carrying on with legal stuff. I guess we have to talk about it. It's been rumbling on for ages, but apparently it's sort of coming to the fore now. Michigan seem to be close to finding out the charges that are going to be leveled against them in the Connor Stallions scandal. An unofficial version of the notice of allegations has been seen. I reckon 7 past and present members of the coaching staff are targeted, including former head coach Jim Harbaugh and current head coach Sharon Moore. Moore is potentially facing what are called show cause penalties, which apparently are meant to make you unhireable in college football. They're really bad. And then suspensions potentially as well. He deleted a whole bunch of texts, apparently, when the Connor Stallion stuff broke, messages with him and Connor talking to one another. And they're trying to do him as a repeat offender. They're going back to recruiting violations he was supposed to have made during COVID as well. So they're trying to pin everything on him at once to raise the levels of the levels of the violations against him. Harbaugh won't be affected by any penalties. They only apply in college football. It may affect him if he wants to come back. The most realistic penalties for Michigan at the minute range from recruiting restrictions to potential postseason bans, and in extreme cases, if they're level one violations are found, maybe forfeiture of previous wins. However, the championship is not under threat of being revoked at all. But I mean, this has been going on forever, and I know a lot of people will be tired of talking about it, but it does seem that they're about ready to press their case against them, and it seems like they're going to try. It seems like the NCAA are going to try and throw the book at them with all the COVID stuff, with all the recruiting stuff there, and now the Connor Stallions stuff. They found him disguised on the Central Michigan sidelines, scouting out Michigan State. It seems to be a very wide-ranging thing. I mean, is this just all going to be smoke and mirrors, and we're just going to get a load of, out of court settling at the end? And, like Harbaugh did his 3 games, which was worthless, or do you reckon the NCAA are really going to try and get them here because they are leveling some serious accusations against them?
See, Arizona down, hidden security cameras caught players coming to visit in COVID. Nothing's happened to the Sun Devils since. Okay, obviously, like I said, all the staff have gone and the players all hit the pole because of the scandal, but nah, not what's going to happen to Michigan. Not happen to the Sun Devils. Like I said, they got penalised, but nothing that derailed the program. They did that to themselves. Like you say, yeah, Connor Stallions, yeah, he's done for. It's over for Connor Stallions in college football. No one's going to hire him. No one will probably be allowed to hire him. Sharon Moore, he'll probably take a plea. He'll probably agree to so many charges and probably get suspended for a year. Nothing's going to happen to, like, say, I reckon wins. They'll get fined a lot of money. Might lose a few scholarships, but nah, I'm not buying anything coming down. A few certain staff will be made scapegoats, and that'll be their football careers over. And it'll probably all just go away. And yeah, Harbaugh's never going back to college. Like I say, he'll coach a couple of years. If he's ever fired, he'll retire. He ain't going to get suspended, so I can't lay a glove on him. And he will have been the ringleader. But yeah, it's ugly, and this stuff probably goes on all the time. They just got caught. I imagine sign stealing that must be very easy. If you're better at disguising yourself, like wear a fake beard or a mustache or something, for God's sake, if you're sitting in the crowd. Don't just sit there in sunglasses with a t-shirt on. Like, yeah, they've been rumbled, but no, I don't expect a lot to happen.
No, it just feels too far gone. That it's too long ago. You should have done this at the time. Like, this is way too far past now to be punishing them, especially for COVID stuff now. It's just ridiculous. It's 4 years ago. Like, you should have done it a long time ago. You should have got your house in order. You didn't. You made a mess of things. They made a mess of the UNC thing and the players stuff last year, and they got done for it. They just seem a really poorly run organization. So I expect nothing to happen to Michigan. I don't think it will. And even if they do, they'll let Michigan whittle it down and meter out their own punishment to themselves, I reckon, like they did with Harbaugh. But yeah, that's still ongoing, and we just had to mention that one there. Right, that's everything in terms of news and bits going on at the moment. So we're going to get to the main part of the show here. And as I say, last week we took a look at the preseason media predictions for where teams were going to finish in their respective conferences. We did most of those, apart from the ACC, which hadn't done theirs, and the Sun Belt, which we're going to do at the end of the preview for that. So this week, we're going to take a little bit of a different slant on things, something we've not done before. So as well as predicting where the teams are going to finish in the league, the media also compile a list of teams from their respective conference with players on there. Basically, it's like the all-star, it's like the all-conference lists at the end of the year, but it's a preseason prediction like we did with ours. And so I thought it would be really interesting for the Power Four conferences to match them all against one another and see which team we think is the best. So we're going to do it position by position. So we'll do the quarterbacks. We'll rank them 1 to 4, 1 being best, obviously 4th being worst. Go through all the position groups and then tally up who we think out of their groups have the best team overall. Just something a little fun for us to do while we're waiting for the season to start. And the kicker here is me and Ryan have to agree on this because mostly we let us do our own lists and stuff for this, but I thought no, we might have some
Oh, I thought
arguments
we'd do
this
our own
week.
rankings.
Oh no, 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 no. So we're gonna have
What's the
to
category?
then, we'll have to ask the chat to help in there in exceptional circumstances. We'll see if we agree and then we'll debate it because this is the last thing we've got to do it. So, we got time on our side. If people in the chat want to chime in, give us their thoughts, that might be there as well. So, like I say, we're going to go through quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, O-line, D-line, linebackers, defensive backs. So, you all ready for this, Ryan? Let's get this show on the road. Where am I? Like I say, we're going to go through all the positions and we'll get through this. So we're going to start with quarterbacks. So the four quarterbacks from the conferences that have been picked to their selective all-star preseason teams this year. So in the American, Atlantic, Coastal. Oh my God, that is such a schoolboy mistake. Right, let's just quickly fix that right away. The American Coastal. What a schoolboy error there, Anthony. Come on. It is the Atlantic Coastal. Sorry, folks. Quickly sort that. So yeah, the Atlantic Coastal, their quarterback, Cameron Ward from the Miami Hurricanes. From the Big 12, we have Shedeur Sanders from Colorado. From the SEC, we have Carson Beck from Georgia. And from the Big 10, we have Dylan Gabriel from Oregon. So I just quickly need to quantify this. The ACC, the Big 12, the SEC are their own media groups. I've used theirs. Because the Big Ten media don't create their own, I've had to do a committee approach. So I use like 5 different Big Ten teams from respectable people and put the names of the most often used guys in there to create sort of like a hybridy one. So Ryan, we've got Cameron Ward from the ACC. We've got Shedeur Sanders from Colorado. We've got Carson Beck from Georgia. We got Dylan Gabriel from Oregon. So let's start 4 through 1. So who is the weakest quarterback for you in those 4?
Oh, this is easy. It's Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, I'm in agreement with you. I
He
thought we
has
might
loads of
struggle
stats, but he
here.
is so boring and he's not won anything. He is not exciting at all. He does nothing for me.
Oh, love that. So we've got the Big Ten as having the weakest quarterback on there. So now we got Carson Beck, we've got Shedeur Sanders, and we've got Cameron Ward. So obviously Cameron Ward, for those listening, he's had a glistening college career, first at Incarnate Word in the FCS, came up to Washington State, absolutely lit up the Pac-12 with them, big jump up, still looked good. He's now with the Hurricanes this year. It's going to be his biggest job by far, but he's had a very respectable college career so far and has been successful at every level. Shedeur Sanders, we know, probably going to be a first-round draft pick coming up next year. And Carson Beck, supposedly the best quarterback in college football. I disagree with that, but those are the 3 we've got. Who have you got at 3, Ryan?
I think Shadar, personally.
Ooh.
I think he loses as many games as he wins. I think he takes a lot of risks, a lot pay off, but a lot don't.
I thought
I
I
don't
was
think he's a
gonna.
team player either. I hate his attitude.
I thought I was gonna have trouble shoehorning Cameron Ward in this high. See, I would have put. I was thinking Beck here, maybe. And not that I don't like Carson Beck, but I think he's still got a lot to prove. I don't like the hype around him when he's not really done it yet. But no, okay. We'll do Shador as the third best. He'll not be watching this, so he can't rinse us on Twitter, so we're safe there. So then it comes down to Cameron Ward and Carson Beck. So who are we picking as the number 1 quarterback of these 4 then? We'll do the number 1, and then obviously we'll know who's second. I mean,
For one, right now, I would put Beck, but that's because he's he's not had to do a lot right now, and I think he's probably got the highest ceiling, but I think he's a long way from it. But he
oh,
makes very few mistakes.
yeah. Um, I agree. So
And I like Ward. I think
I
I
do.
would have liked Ward to go to the draft.
Yeah, yeah. I like Cameron. Cameron Ward's got the body
It
of
could be a
work
bad
behind him.
season for him, but Hurricanes can do that to guys.
Yeah. Cameron Ward's got the best body of work behind him out of everybody. And the fact he made the jump up from the FCS to the FBS so seamlessly, that works well for him for me. I hope he does well with the Hurricanes. So we got Carson Beck, Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, and then Dylan Gabriel. Glad that we're in agreement for that. That's a good start for this one. Mild Marker goes, yay, agreement. Yes. Maybe not for long though. So love it. Right, let's carry this on then. And I don't know whether we are going to agree here. This is tough.
This is
This
hard
is
already.
really tough. So the running back rooms, like when we said the running backs are going to be great in the draft this year, it's going to be one of the deepest potential classes of all. So let us know what you think. So from the Atlantic Coastal, their running back pairing, Amari and Hampton from UNC and Jaden Ott from California. The Big 12. We've got Ollie Gordon II from Oklahoma State. Some reckon the best running back of all in this class. And Taj Brooks from Texas Tech. Then we go to the SEC. We've got Trevor Etienne of Georgia, just transferred over from Florida. And then you've got Jarquez Hunter as well from Auburn. He's no slouch. 1,000-yard season last year, 7 touchdowns behind that porously bad Auburn D-line, O-line. And then for the Big Ten, you've got Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State, and you've got Kyle Monangai from Rutgers. Now, before everyone complains about Donovan Edwards, etc., Kyle Monangai had, 1,300 yards last year, and 8 touchdowns in that Rutgers team. He is well worthy of this, and he was on 4 of the 5 various ones I checked for this. He is rightfully on there. So, I mean, God, where do we start? Amari and Hampton and Jaden Ott, Ollie Gordon and Taj Brooks, Trevor Etienne and Jarquez Hunter, and then Quinshon Judkins and Kyle Monangai. My initial thought here is the SEC's last.
Yes.
So, and that is, I am not disrespecting Trevor Etienne and Jarquez Hunter. That is
Etienne
like
can be very
saying,
talented, but
yeah,
I didn't deliver at Florida.
I think
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was on a poor team there.
Hunter, like you say, did everything he could at Auburn, but
Yeah.
the ceiling is capped in that offense. So I would go SEC last year.
Yeah. So I'm in agreement there. Now I'm struggling. Like Hampton and Ott, Gordon and Brooks, Judkins and Monangai. I'm really struggling here because I love the ACC pairing. Like, I think Jade Nott's special. I think Amari and Hampton's special. You know what UNC's been like for running backs these last few years? They just create super stars. But then Gordon and Brooks, that will probably be the most naturally talented pairing. Like, in terms of home run breakability, show off type skill. But then Quinshon Judkins and Kyle Monangai, they're like the workhorse. They're the workmen in this, aren't they? They're the guys you back because they're the hardworking, gritty street guys who go out there and just are incredibly tough runners. I don't know where to go here because I feel like I'm disrespecting someone if I do. The Big Ten is
I'm leaning
calling me.
towards Judkins and Monangai at 3.
I am as well, but it's not we're not being nasty at all, are we?
Yeah.
This is just incredibly talented. So yeah, I'm going to put the Big Ten at 3 here. Monangai and Judkins are incredibly good, but Hampton and Ott, Gordon and Brooks. This is incredibly tough. Like,
When I saw the list, I instantly went number 1, Ott and Hampton.
see, I did as well.
Because Jaden Ott, like say, in a Cal team that was surprising, like say, he was electric last year and he absolutely destroyed us.
And that
Marion Hampton, like say, he was a star, like say, and he's only 20. I think
Yeah.
Hampton this year, I think he's a Heisman contender.
Like
He's
the guy,
he's going to have no help. He is going to be doing it all on his own, Marion Hampton.
it's incredibly tough. I don't know who to do here. But my natural instinct was with you, so maybe we should do it via that. But then, like, I know you love Taj Brooks. I love Taj Brooks.
I love
Um,
Brooks, but he's probably the most physical back on here, breaks a lot of tackles, like you say, but he's not a star. I just
no,
think he's one of the best backs in football at what he does.
yeah. And when we say Ollie Gordon's the best in this class, he's not like a one, is he? He's a 1A. Like there's a 1B, a 1C, a 1D, a 1E, a 1F. There's so many ones here. He doesn't like you feel he's clear cut. Right. So are we going two for the second for the Big 12 and we're crowning the best running backs in the ACC, yeah?
Yeah.
That's tough. That's incredibly tough, but yeah, I agree there. So ACC is doing well so far, and that's not going to stop for me coming up. So we're going to move on to the wide receivers now. So the Big 12 has four. The others all have three, but we're kind of just doing it on level of receiver. It doesn't matter if you've got more than anyone else. That does not factor in. It's just who do you think the best guys are? The Atlantic Coastal first up, and my God. What a unit they possess. Kevin Concepcion, our NC State wonder boy, true freshman who just destroyed everything last year. You've got Xavier Restrepo from Miami of Florida. He had 1,100 yards, six touchdowns last year. And then you've got Elik Ayamano, who's just quite frankly one of the most talented wide receivers in college football altogether. So those are the three from the Atlantic Coastal. Then you move into the Big 12. Well, a lot of Lions fans' favorite draft pick already in the next cycle. Tetaroa McMillan from Arizona leads the list there. Then you've got Kobe Hudson from UCF. He had 932 yards, eight touchdowns last year. He's got 15 touchdowns in his last two seasons. You've got the FCS sensation Jaden Higgins at Iowa State. In his first year up, he came from Eastern Kentucky. He had 983 yards and six touchdowns for the Cyclones. And then they got Brennan Presley as well from Oklahoma State. He had 1,000 yards, six touchdowns on the year, had a couple of rushing touchdowns as well. Then you go into the SEC. They put forward Luther Burden III from Missouri, who is possibly the best wide receiver in college football, all told. You've got Trey Harris from Ole Miss, who's really good. And then you've got Isaiah Bond from Texas. He was at Alabama last year. He had nearly 700 yards, four touchdowns for Alabama last year, but he has defected to Texas there. And then in the Big Ten, we've got Emeka Ebuka from Ohio State, who's just the latest in a long line of superstars from the Buckeyes. You've got Tez Johnson from Oregon, who was a menace last year. He had 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns on the season. And you've got Daniel Jackson from Minnesota. And before you poo-poo him, with Khalid Manis throw into him, he had 840 yards, eight touchdowns, and he's probably one of the best run blocking wide receivers out of everybody mentioned because that's what Minnesota do a lot. So, right. We got Concepcion, Restrepo, and Ayamano for the ACC. McMillan, Hudson, Higgins, Presley for the Big 12. Burden, Harris, and Bond for the SEC. And Ibuka, Johnson, and Jackson for the Big 10. Who's at four in
Immediate thought
this?
is Big Ten. Lacks depth for me.
Ooh.
Ibuka will have it, like say, has now can be the guy, but Daniel Jackson, I look at the situation in Minnesota, he's not going to capitalize. I know I picked his quarterback in my preseason watch team, but that could be pants. Tez Johnson's good, but not a star. But I look at in all the other groups, like say ACC has just got the most well-rounded group.
Hmm. I'm saying
Yeah,
one right away for them.
yeah. Well,
All
see,
right, we'll get to that in a minute
yeah.
then.
So
So we're
for
saying
I'm saying Big Ten. I think that lacks depth.
See, for me, it was either them or the SEC. Like Burden, I love. He's a megastar. He's been a megastar
I
since
think
day
Trey Harris is
one.
the best of those three.
You know what? You're right. Trey Harris,
Uh,
I probably don't give him as much credit
he
as I
could be a
should.
first round receiver.
Yeah, right. So we'll go Big Ten as the worst receiving group out of that lot. So where are we looking now? So are we looking in Big 12 territory or do they have enough? Because I mean, it's really good group. Like Jaden Higgins, like Eastern Kentucky, man, they make some really great receivers, especially the NFL level as well. He's been great on there. There's some good ones. But again, I feel like outside of Tetora McMillan, they lack
Yeah,
the
I feel like the fall
superstar.
off is pretty big. I'd probably go
Mm.
Big 12 at 3.
I think I would as well, just about. Again, these are not bad players at all. These are the best players in their conference, but when you're trying to find the elite team out of all these, there we go. Right, so I feel like maybe we're going to have our first little fight here. So we've got the SEC against the ACC. So for me, Conception, Restrepo, and Ayamano are like I'd have a wet dream if they were my three wide receivers on my team. They just would destroy everything in their path. But Burden is probably higher ceiling than the three of them. Trey Harris, as you said, his ceiling's high. Isaiah Bond, he's going to go crazy. Obviously, Texas need more guys now that Worthy and oh God, the other one, Worthy and that have gone. So they need receivers. He's probably going to go crazy. Like, is that top two enough to overcome the three of the ACC for you? I say no, but
It
I'm
feels
open
unfair if I look at their
for
QB situations. I feel like I have to take that into account. Like, can Ayamana do it again? Like say Conception, like say, will he do it again? Like say you look at
Conception's got
the
Grayson McCall this year.
yeah, like
Um,
say
Restrepo's got Cam Ward this year.
yeah, who's the
I
Stanford QB this year? I have no idea.
into an FCS guy.
I think they've
Is it?
got a transfer, yeah. It's
I
not from
don't know.
Sac State, is it?
Ashton Daniels. Is it Ashton Daniels? Uh, I'm not sure. I can't say for sure right now.
No.
Um, oh, a
I
bit.
I prefer the ACC group, but I think the SEC group will be better. But I'm happy to put ACC at 1 because I look at a few of them and I think genuine draft pick. They're all draft picks, but
Yeah,
I feel like Alec Ayamana, like say, like
first
could
rounder.
could he be a first rounder? He is like six
Restrepo.
foot. He is like 6'3" and like 220. Like he's also kind of like crazily built as well.
Restrepo first rounder, Conception first
Yeah,
round. I think all them three are going to be first
yeah. I
rounders.
can see ACC. I can see them all dominating again this year.
All right, so we're going to go SEC at 2,
Yeah,
and then I'm
I
going
have
to put
question marks
ACC at
about
1.
Bond.
Yeah, but I will consider that your grace to me, so I will give you like the same respect back at some point if we have another discussion on this. Right, we're going to go on to tight ends next. So. This is a mixture of the past and the present for these guys. So from the ACC, we've got Oronde Gadsden the second from Syracuse. From the Big 12, we've got Brant Kuithe from Utah. From the SEC, we've got Caden Prescorn from Ole Miss. And then the Big 10, of course, it was never going to be anyone else. We've got Colston Loveland from Michigan. Now, it's going to be so for those who don't know, Gadsden and Queethe were top prospects right at the top of their class at one point. An injury has banjaxed the pair of them. Gadsden lost all of a year to injury. Queethe's lost multiple years to injury at this point. I think he's a sixth year super senior this year, but at his peak, he is a top quality tight end. But then you've got the guys who've been there. So Prescorn, your big old miss guy, you'll know what he's all about. Just their stats to give a little bit of context. Prescorn as a receiver went 449 yards, 4 touchdowns last year. His run blocking grade was 55, pass blocking 63. Colston Loveland, he had 649 yards and 4 touchdowns, so 200 yards more than Prescorn, but he was a 51 against the run, just 4 points less than Prescorn, 69 in pass protection, which is 6 better than Prescorn, but pass protection doesn't mean as much to tight ends, so Prescorn's kind of got a little bit of the outside edge as a run blocker. Loveland has it as a receiver, but it depends. Do we think Gadsden and Queethe can still be the guys they were, or are we sort of judging them on what they are now? Number 4 on this list, right? Who do you think is the worst tight end? Who will be the worst tight end of this group this year?
Prescorn. I just don't think Ole Miss respects the tight end position that much. And he's now 25. He's been around. He hasn't done enough to declare right now. Fizzling out.
Okay, so we're gonna put Priesthorn 4. That's surprising. I'm not gonna argue. I like Queethe. I do like Gadsden. Now, you know what? You're the authority on Ole Miss. I'm willing to go with that. So we've got four there for them. Now we're down to Gadsden, we're down to Queethe, we've got Colston Loveland. Um,
I don't think we're going to
I
agree here.
so right, number three for me. Right, it depends what you want. Gadsden is probably the best receiver of everyone. He had nearly 1,000 yards in one season before he got injured. Quite is, I would say, the better run blocker. He's won multiple Pac-12 championships. He is incredibly good at what he does. But I do really like Colston Loveland. I do think he's big to that Michigan team, and they do utilize tight ends a lot. Oh
For me, it's
dear.
Queethe. I genuinely think he's fizzling out in
I
college.
see it.
I think the NFL dreams kind of died for him. I don't see him
That's
getting
the
it
thing.
back. Like I said, and also like him and like say Rising, they've just been on a downward trajectory for the last few years, and like
They've
I feel
both been
like it goes hand
injured.
in hand.
I don't
Yeah,
think either of them played a
yeah. I
snap
can't
last
hold it
year.
against him. I just feel like he's not
Yeah,
going to get it all back in a year.
yeah. No, I can get that. I think the Big 12, I put Queethe in there. I worry about the injuries. I think it might be a bit too much. Gadsden's injuries have not been as severe, and Syracuse love him. They basically treat him as a receiver there, and he can also block pretty well. He was back in the days when was it Sean Miller? Was it Sean Miller or Taylor? Their running back, the one who went absolutely
Yeah, Sean
berserk.
Tucker. Yeah,
Sean Tucker, that's it. Like he was blocking for him, and they went berserk. Right. So are we putting Gadsden at two, or are we?
yeah. Loveland at one because,
Yeah,
like I say,
yeah,
how you just got to look at how Michigan use the tight ends. He's coming off a great year,
yeah,
and he's going to be expected to pitch in for a new quarterback.
yeah,
He's going to get a lot of looks. And Gadsden, we've seen a crazy ceiling, but was it a flash in the pan? Kyle McCord is a bit sus. I think Gadsden will have a great year. I actually think he'd be quite I think someone's going to love him in the draft. He
yeah,
could be an absolute steal.
yeah. Secret weapon,
Yeah.
receiver,
Yeah.
blocker, all
Gadsden
sorts.
2 and Loveland at 1, I'd go.
Right. So we got Caden Prescorn at four. We've got Brant Queethe at three. We've got Arande Gadsden at two. Colston Loveland from Michigan. You win most love from us for tight end this year. Go slay it, Queen, as Gen Z say. Right, we'll move on to the last defensive position when I can get my group back up, and we go to offensive line. So
This is hard.
each conference has five. I'll just list the names off first, and then we'll go into it a bit more because yeah, there's a lot of people here. So the ACC's offensive line. You got the left tackle Darius Washington from Florida State, the right tackle Blake Miller from Clemson, the right guard Willie Lampkin from UNC, the left guard Michael Gonzalez from Louisville, and the center Maurice Smith from Florida State. In the Big 12, you got the right tackle Jonah Savinea, sorry, from Arizona. You got the left tackle Dalton Cooper from Oklahoma State, the right guard Luke Kandra from Cincinnati, the left tackle Wyatt Millam from West Virginia, and the center Joe Michalski from Oklahoma State. In the SEC, you got Will Campbell from LSU, maybe the best tackle in the draft, who knows? You got the left tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. from Texas, the left guard Tyler Booker from Alabama, the right guard Tate Ratledge from Georgia, and the center Cooper Mays from Tennessee, one of the better centers in the cycle. And the Big Ten, you got the left tackle Aronte Ursery from Minnesota, the right tackle Ajani Cornelius from Oregon, the left guard Donovan Jackson from Ohio State, the right guard Sal Wormley from Penn State, and the offensive center Logan Jones from Iowa. So, yeah, like Ryan said, this is very tough. So you kind of go to the
A
Big
few
12.
names I know, like I say, some of them jump out to me. But like I say, judging a line off of that, it's kind of hard.
So going to the Big 12 first, Wyatt Millam, I've already put on record, is the best left tackle in college football this year. It's not Will Campbell. It is Wyatt Millam. He is an absolute road mauler in the Big 12. Jonas Savaianea, I'm guessing you've seen him for Arizona. That line was really good
Yeah.
last year. I know he's been talked about in draft cycles. Darius Washington at Florida State. So we go to the ACC. Darius Washington is a project at left tackle. He's good, but he's not done it just yet. Blake Miller's an incredibly good right tackle for Clemson. They are rebooting that lineup. You think how good they've been running the football recently. Willie Lampkin, he was at Coastal Cal. He was their standout player there. He's gone to UNC again, running the football in terms of guard. He's really good there. And then you got Michael Gonzalez from Louisville. And Louisville made the ACC title game last year based on that line and its ability to protect its quarterback, who was not great, but he got plenty of time to throw the ball there. Oh, so you come to the SEC. Will Campbell's going to be one of the picks for first tackle gone in the next draft. Cooper Mays might be the best center or one of the best centers in this class. Tate Ratledge, it was his first year, I believe, as a starter at Georgia. He graded elite. Tyler Booker was good at Alabama. And then you got the Big Ten. Now, the Big Ten are great for offensive linemen, right? Ursary at Minnesota. Just think how much they've done in their run game in recent years. Like, they're one of the best running teams in the nation. And this big mofo at left tackle is one of the reasons why I really like him as a player. You got Cornelius at Oregon. I mean, you'll have seen more of him, I guess, with Pac-12 stuff. But I know Sal Wormley's got the right guard at Penn State. Logan Jones from Iowa. Iowa trench warfare players are good here. Any initial thoughts? Because I look at this, the Big Ten is very workmanlike. It's not got any household names in it. Like that'll be the thing that'll take it away from people. There's no one who's been talked about in draft cycles here, but it's an incredibly competitive conference, and these are some really good players. I do like the SECs. I think the Big 12s is where
I like the
it's
Big
at as
12.
well. For me, I think the ACC is the one where it's lacking a little. Willie Lampkin's good, but you know what that UNC line's been like in pass protection. Similarly, Clemson have struggled a bit. I say Darius Washington's good, but he's not the most elite left tackle just yet. But he's getting there, but he's not there yet. Maurice Smith's very good, but I do feel like this is where the ACC needs a little bit. I feel like their offensive line is not the best.
No, I worry about. Yeah, I'm not overly sold on the guards. The
So
guards are the one for the ACC that I'm not keen. I like the Big Ten, like you say, Sal Wormley, Logan Jones, Donovan Jackson. I like their interior. I think they've got a very sound line in the Big Ten.
so we're putting ACC at 4 then.
Yeah.
Right. And then here's where it starts to get tough. I mean, you've got two great tackles in the Big 12s, one in Milam and Savaiinaea. Again, the interior, like there's two Oklahoma State guys in there. I always like what they're about. Kandra's been all right at Cincinnati, but I feel like the Big 12 might be next. Although, as much as I
Yeah.
love Wyatt Millam is my favorite player out of all these, but it's got to be a complete 5.
This has got patches. So I'd go Big 12 4. No,
Oh,
3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we've got the SEC and we've got the Big 10. So again,
A lot of
I
turnover,
think
like say at Bama. I'm tempted to go SEC
yes,
second.
the SEC have better tackles. I
Yeah.
think the Big
I
Ten
prefer
has
the
a
Big
better
Ten's interior.
interior. But then Cade Mays is the one who might switch. He's probably a better center than Logan Jones for me. But if you gave me leeway with the wide receivers, so I'm happy to give a bit of leeway here because they're both very good units. I just wonder if, yeah, maybe the Big Ten's interior gives it a bit more. Is that where you're at?
Yeah. And like I say, I look at them all and Big Ten. I look at them and think that they're all going to run the ball.
Yeah.
All of them will, like I say, be better. Like I say, SEC may better pass block, but I reckon Big Ten will be better in run pro, and that's how I prefer my offensive lines.
Yeah. I guess I do have a little bit of a persuasion for Big Ten linemen. You generally know what you're getting with them. So, okay. The ACC are 4th, the Big 12 are 3rd, SEC 2nd, Big Ten 1st. So, Big Ten making a comeback here. Right, we're going to move on to the defensive line of the ball now. And now this is tough, except for one. There's one that's very clearly far behind. So in terms of the defensive line, so this is a mixture of edges and tackles. mixed together, basically to form the best four, although two of the conferences have five, so you can do that. The Atlantic Coastal. So you got Ashton Gillotte, the edge from Louisville, one of the best edge prospects in this class. You got Ruben Bain Jr., the edge from Miami, Florida, maybe the best freshman edge rusher in the nation last year by some distance. And then you got really good D tackle group. You've got Joshua Farmer from Florida State and a guy from your to watch list the other week, Aeneas Peebles from Virginia Tech. That's a bloody good defensive line. From the Big 12, you've got the edge Tyler Batty from BYU. You've got the edge BJ Green from Colorado. I hate to say this, but he's just transferred in from Arizona State, so you should
Very
know
good.
him
He had
well there.
He had 35, I think 34 tackles for loss in his 2 years at Arizona. He led the nation, I think, across the 2 years.
Jeez. Yeah, so he's on there. Then you've got a nose tackle, Dante Corleone from Cincinnati. You got two D tackles, Lee Hunter from UCF and Junior Tafuna from Utah. Then you get to the SEC. Wow. James Pierce
Wow.
Jr. from Tennessee, presumptive number one pick in the 2025 draft. Above all the quarterbacks, that's how good this guy can be. Harold Perkins, the edge from LSU. Let's just forget that his head coach is trying to ruin him by making him a Sam. Let's remember the old Harold Perkins for this. Defensive tackles, Walter Nolan from Texas A&M, Deone Walker from Kentucky. Was he on your list as well the other week?
No, but another guy further down was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
then
Kentucky guy.
yeah, and then we got Nazir Stackhouse from Georgia, and then for the Big Ten, oh boy, we got Abdul Carter, the edge from Penn State, JT Tuamalo. I'm really good with names. I can never get his name right from Ohio State. And we've got Mason Graham, of course, from Michigan, and Tyleek Williams from Ohio State. So ACC ride, Jalot Bain Jr., Farmer Peebles, Big 12, Batty, Green, Corleone, Hunter, Tafuna, SEC, Pierce Jr., Perkins, Nolan, Walker, Stackhouse, and then Big 10, Carter, Tuimolau, Graham, and Williams. Can we just go ahead and call the Big 12 4 now? Or do you
Yes.
have dissenting? And again, the Big 12 are getting a lot of hate on
I like
this one.
Tafuna and BJ Green, but I don't rate the rest of the. I don't rate anyone outside of Green and Tafuna.
Corleone's a good nose tackle.
I'd put Big
but
12 at
there are legitimate superstars everywhere, right? And this is where it gets difficult, right?
Yeah.
So Gelotta, Bain,
I
Farmer,
know
and
I know
Peebles.
I'm putting it at 3.
James Pierce Jr., Perkins, Nolan, Walker, Stackhouse, Carter. Oh, Mason Graham is the best defensive tackle in football by some distance for Michigan. Abdul Carter, he's coming up from linebacker, but they're doing with him what they should have done with Micah Parsons. He's not going to be Micah Parsons, but he's going to be that good. And then you've got for me, I'm not as big on the Ohio State, but I don't get the hype behind them because they've crumbled every time they've played against Michigan.
Yeah.
And I think that
Big
shows.
10's my 3.
Yes, I will agree because
I have concerns about Carter and Williams.
Carter's not proven on the edge yet because he's coming up from linebacker and he's playing more of an edge this year. Mason Graham is one of the best defensive players in college football. I don't want to gain the wrath of Michigan fans from that, but I just don't believe in the Ohio State pairing. I just don't. I just think you've got to do it when it matters.
No.
Mason
Honestly,
Graham.
I think Carter. I think when they're going to ask Carter to rush the passer, I think Carter's going to struggle.
Mason Graham destroys Ohio State when it matters. He destroys Alabama when it matters. I don't get that from the Ohio State guys. So, yeah, I'm going to go at 3 there. But what do we do now?
I kind of love the ACC line.
I love the ACC line.
They're very worthy runners up for me. I think they've got fantastic. Right, so I look at number 1, and I think I weigh up. So you got Stackhouse, you've got Nolan Walker. So that for me, that's the best interior. But then, like you say, Perkins is a tweener, so I struggle with Harold Perkins. So far, he's not lived up to it. But Pierce Jr., like you say, he might take over the nation this year. I just give SEC 1, but it's very close. I think Ashton Gillott is going to have a monster year.
So you've got to kind of compare them. So if you're comparing Pierce with Jalot, Pierce beats Jalot. If you're comparing Bain Jr. with
Yeah.
Perkins, Bain Jr. wins because Ruben Bain Jr. is going to be a tremendous
Yeah.
football player.
Dion Walker to Peebles, I suppose. What?
Yeah,
Well, no,
Walker's
because
good. Walker's
Peebles had a
great.
great year at Duke
Yeah.
last year. Yeah.
Peebles and Farmer are really good players. And you know what? I feel like I've been cruel to Florida State in this, which I'm not. It's just, it's been tough competition levels. I would give the SEC the win here and the ACC second, but I would do it
Stackhouse
reticently.
won't rack up numbers, but the guy's just a black call, and that's all he's there to do, innit? Just
Right.
swallow stuff up.
So we're going to go ACC as two, and we're going to go
Yeah.
SEC as one.
I think
I
that's
think
giving the
that's
ACC
worthy.
a lot of credit.
I
They
think
are
that's
going to be an
worthy.
extremely fun bunch to watch this year.
Brent, I have said Wolverines players are the best a lot. I have mentioned their cornerback been the best player they've produced in over a decade. I can't talk highly enough about Will Johnson. When it's due, I give Michigan players their dues. Right, we'll move into. So we've got two groups left now, and this could be quite close. The ACC is doing really well at the minute. Let's have a look how we get on here. So we're going to linebackers now, and we're going to start with the ACC. So we've got Barrett Carter from Clemson. We've got Francisco Mauigoa from the Miami Hurricanes. We've got Marlo Wax from Syracuse. Moving over to the Big 12, we've got Jacob Manu from Arizona. And then we've got the Oklahoma State pair of Nick Martin and Colin Oliver. Coming to the SEC, we've got Danny Stutzman from Oklahoma, Deontay Lawson from Alabama, and Mikael Williams from Georgia. And then coming to the Big Ten, we've got four here. So we've got Jay Higgins and Nick Jackson, both from Iowa. They were both unanimous. These other two, like I say, I did four lots of results for these. They both came up equally. We've got Jeffrey Baser from Oregon and Xander Mueller from Northwestern, who was in my team to watch the other week. There are some cracking linebacker groups here, right? I mean, instantly off the bat, I'm gonna say, weird for the ACC, I think they've got the weakest group in here, but I don't know. Initial thoughts. Who do you have at the bottom of this?
Yeah, I'd probably put it's between the ACC and it's between the Big 12 at the bottom.
Oh, really? Right, we're going to have some disagreement there then. I
I've
like
got
my
a clear number
honesty.
one, and then yeah, it's murky.
So we're going to go agree that ACC is four.
Yeah,
There are some good players there, but there are others I prefer elsewhere in these groups. So this is intriguing because for me, the Oklahoma State pair in the Big 12 are absolute dynamite. I love Oklahoma State linebackers, and Jacob Manu is a hell of a player for Arizona. I think that's that. If you're talking about which group of guys are going to kick your ass the most, that's the one that does it. But I guess there's more to it than just kicking ass. The SEC is what I have at three.
Stutson. I think Lawson brings that group down, and
Yes,
Stutson is if you built a linebacker in a factory, build him, but he's not lived up to it.
he's good, but he should be great.
Yeah.
I think that's
The
obviously
numbers
Mikael
don't back
Williams.
up about like say how and like say he came in with incredible hype
Yeah.
because the guy's like 6'5", in it, and he built like an absolute Adonis.
Oh, he'd murder me, and I'm 6'4" and pretty heavy.
Yep.
He'd do
Mikael
away with
Williams,
me.
I think
Yes, he's
he's
good.
one of the best in this group, but yeah, he is being held back by the other two. So you can make a strong case for SEC at three, yeah.
Right, we'll do SEC at three then.
So
So
my
then,
number one straight away, I go straight to the Iowa backers.
yeah,
I have the Big Ten at one. Jay
yeah,
Higgins and Nick Jackson. Like I
yeah,
say, they just they work so well together.
yeah. I agree there fully.
And that said, they're going to have a huge year because they're going to have a lot thrown their way this year.
I just love linebackers from the Big Ten. Like it's a great thing. Like, you'll find them Northwestern, Indiana, every team in the Big Ten has good linebackers. It's just something in the water there. But Xander Mueller, I love. I think he's going to have a great season at Northwestern. The Iowa guys are going to kill it. So I'm with you. So for the linebackers, We've got ACC at 4, SEC at 3, Big 12 at 2, Big 10 takes the title there. And then we've got one group left, and this is easier for me. I already know who's going in at 1, and it's not even a competition, but let's go through it. ACC, we've got the quarterback Dorian Strong from Virginia Tech, the cornerback Aiden White from NC State, love him. The safety Jonas Sanka from Virginia, he was in my team the other week, and the safety RJ Mickens from Clemson. Big 12 have gone all corners. So we've got Takario Davis from Arizona, Travis Hunter from Colorado, Jeremiah Cooper from Iowa State, Kobe Bryant from Kansas, and Mello Dotson from Kansas. Then in the SEC, we've got a load of safeties. We've got Malachi Starks from Georgia, Malachi Moore from Alabama, Billy Bowman from Oklahoma. Then we've got the cornerback Maxwell Hairston from Kentucky. And then in the Big Ten, cornerback Will Johnson from Michigan, cornerback Denzel Burke from Ohio State, safety Caleb Downs from Ohio State, and safety Dylan Tyneman from Purdue. So let's go to 4 first. My immediate one here is the ACC again, but
Yeah.
I'm happy to be.
No, ACC.
No,
I like the Big 12. I like those Kansas corners.
Yeah. So again, that like there's one of my NC State guys in there, love him, but I'm just looking across the board at names and talent, and they can't compare in there. So ACC is 4. Now this is where it gets difficult because again, all corners in the Big 12, but Jeremiah Cooper's a superstar in the making. So is Takario Davis. Like Travis Hunter, if he stays at corner and just plays at corner, does have the potential to be the best corner in the draft class. And then the Kansas pairing are really good. But then you look in the SEC, Malachi Starks, best safety in the nation. I think he's got a good shout for that.
Fair to say, yeah.
Or maybe DT could have a go at that, but I think DT needs another season first. Malachi Moore is great for Bama. You know, Maxwell Hairston, really good at Kentucky.
My preseason watch, yeah, like you say, he's going to be a stud.
So, but then, I mean, you've got the best pair of safeties in here in the Big Ten. Downs and Tyneman are young. They're stupidly talented. Will Johnson's the best corner in the nation. Denzel Burke is incredibly good as well. Like guys like Ricardo Hallman couldn't make this list, and he's above some of the guys who've made it for other teams. I mean, are we looking? Oh, I'm not putting Big Ten in the conversation for 3. I'm sorry, they've got to go higher than that. I'm looking here at Big 12 and SEC, and it's just a matter of preference here. But for me, SEC is at 3. I love Malachi Starks and I love Malachi Moore. They are wonderful, but like I just can't say no to some of these guys in the Big 12 and the Big 10. I am happy to. Is there a debate here? Do you think someone else should go 3? What you're thinking? What are your thoughts at 3? Because I feel like we're doing disservice to Maxwell Hairston as well. Damn good player. I watched some of him after you recommended him the other week because I do like my Kentucky players and like, man, dude's got something.
I think SEC at 3.
Yeah. Reluctantly at 3. Now we've got a big fight for 1. I mean, what do you do here? You've got like I love Jeremiah Cooper so much. I love Tack Davis. Like Hunter, for as big a diva as he is a wonderful
Mello Dotson,
player
I think,
as
is one of the
well.
best defensive players in the country.
Yeah. But then I'm looking at DT and Downs and Will Johnson, and they're just 3 of the best DBs in the nation, period. Denzel Burke can't be put out of this. If you were to do strength of depth of corners, I might give it to the Big Ten. Because there are so many good corners not on this list, but it's guys who are on here. It's incredibly tough, this is. I have an inherent bias to the Big 12 for DBs.
I can see Mello, I can see Dylan Tyneman this year disappearing, if I'm completely honest. I can see that being but then like you say, Caleb Downs, one of the best safes in the nation, Will Johnson, like I say,
best corner in the nation. Best player Michigan have produced in a long time in any position.
Yeah.
Like That's the only thing. It's what is it with Tyneman? Is he a one-hit wonder, or is he going to be one of the best safeties we've ever seen going on
But
again for
yeah, and
Purdue this
Burke's
year?
another guy, like you say, great corner, little production, but that's because he's not a turnover guy, is he?
And
He's
to
not.
be honest,
He's
Big
another Akuda.
and Big 12's weak. Like they don't get thrown on that much. It's hard for him. It's hard for their DBs to. That's why you see a lot of Ohio State DBs come out and they're not great because they just don't have
Yeah,
so
but
much
well,
work
yeah,
done.
Takara Davis fine, and I don't know. I'm not overly keen on Travis Hunter.
No.
I don't know
So
which way. I don't know if I prefer the receiver or the corner Hunter.
so
I'd
I
go Big
I
Ten one
yeah,
for Will Johnson and Downs.
yeah.
If
I'm
Tainerman does deliver and back it up and doesn't like say it wasn't a one hit wonder, then we made the right decision.
right. So let me just tally this up here. I'm going to do the scores. Just bear with me. Six. I think that's right. Three. Oh, it's going to be close. This is, I think. One. Oh, wow. And then we've got the Big Ten. 4, 7, oh my. So we have done a breakdown of all the position groups for the preseason media teams. So we've picked the position groups that we like the best. So just to show you who had the favorite ones as for what we've got here. So the ACC, they had two first place finishers, the running backs and the wide receivers. We had has been the best in the nation in terms of these preseason media ones. Big 12 didn't have any. So they didn't have any of the best position groups anywhere, which is tough because their running backs are amazing, but they just lost out on some good competition. The SEC won on quarterback and D line, and then the Big Ten won on tight end, O line, linebacker, and defensive back. So going 4-1 in terms, drum roll. So the worst of the media preseason teams, as decided by us here at Royal Lines UK, belongs to the Big 12. They had 22 points altogether when it was all written, said, and done. In second place, we have a tie at 20 points. So maybe we have to have a tiebreaker here, but we have the ACC and the SEC on 20 points. And then in first place, winning this all, mainly based on the defense, because they didn't do well to start with 18 points, is the Big Ten. So we've unanimously decided that the Big Ten has one of the best rosters going into this year. I mean, are we doing a tie break between the SEC and the A? Oh, who had the less ones? Who had the ones and twos? So the ACC had two ones, two twos. The SEC had two ones, two twos. They've pretty much matched each other. The ACC had three last place finishes. The SEC had two. So it's going to be Big 12 in fourth, ACC in third, SEC in second, Big Ten in first. Feel good about that? I think it is just about replicated.
Yeah, like say, I think like say the Big 12, I can see a majority of the team is doing very poorly, but you will get some standout performances from a lot of the guys we've seen today named. Like say
Yeah.
ACC, the teams that it could be a dumpster fire con at the ACC. Do you know, win-loss records, it could be, but I think it'll be bad.
Mm.
But like you say, some of the guys we've spoken about there, like you say, it won't because of them. There are some genuine, like you say, there's some first round players in 2025 that are coming out of the ACC.
Oh, absolutely. Like the ACC's skill position groups, running backs, wide
The
receivers are
Big 12, the
unmatched.
Big Ten, it's no surprise, is it? Defense and
Defense,
trenches. We know where
yeah,
they're at. Yeah, they want to run the ball and they want to stop the run.
yeah. Put it this way, after quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers, they had 11 points. That was three groups out of eight. They ended up with 18. You know, four of the last five they won. Tight end, offensive line, linebackers, DB. It's no comparison there. But like I say, this is not a shot at the Big 12. Ollie Gordon, Taj Brooks, absolutely amazing. Tetaora McMillan is going to be a high draft pick for Arizona. You know, Wyatt Millam is the best left tackle in football. You know, it's a BJ Green, amazing there. You know, the Oklahoma State linebackers are great, and then the corners are going to be amazing. Be interesting to see who gets drafted highest out of those. Takario, Mello Dotson. Do you reckon Mello Dotson's got a chance there? I think Jared. I think he does.
Hope, yeah. I think Melo Dotson, like 6'1", like 190. I feel like he's got a good shot to be a day two pick. Like I say, he's got a lot of, like I said, Jeremiah Cooper come off a great year. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of Big 12 corners drafted next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to everyone who's joined. If there's any questions you want to ask us before we get out of here, because that is all we had planned for the day. Obviously, we're just sort of in a holding pattern until the season starts now. We've got a few guest shows coming up, which I need to get round to sorting. We've just been that busy with the Lions stuff, but we will get there with that. And then we'll have our official predictions show coming up soon. So me and Ryan, we're going to be predicting all 12 teams in the playoffs. We've got to do that. We're going to be predicting all the teams that are going to get to the championship games, conference winners, individual player award winners, and we're going to see how well we do this year. So that's going to be good fun. So you've got a lot coming up from us in the college pod in the future. We're taking requests. If there's anything you want to know about position groups, players, etc., then just let us know. I'm working on a centers and guards thing for Lisa at the minute. Sorry, it's taken a while, Lisa, but we've we've been going through a lot of work, so trying to get that put together. But you know, we're quite happy to do that stuff for you to break the information down into a manageable way. Let's just check, make sure. Is there anything else you want to mention, Rye, while we're here, or is that about it?
I think that's about it. Like I said, can we just name the 12 players that made teams that make conference? We don't have to rank them, do we? 1 to 12.
Oh no. We don't have to rank it. We're not ranking them. That's silly.
Can't remember the credentials for making the playoffs right now.
Right. We've had a question before we go. So, quick thinking. Is there anything nice you can say about Minnesota for the upcoming season? Right. I'll start here. Dragan Kesic, the kicker, is really good. He was on. I got asked a question about college kickers, I think by Ash, for this season coming up, and Dragan Kesic was third on that list, I think. So, kicker's really good. I mean, they've got some good players there. We've mentioned the left tackle today. He's really good. Mark Jackson, the receiver, 800 yards last year with Calliot Manis throwing at him. And they've got, who's the quarterback they've got this year now? That's something nice you could say. You love him.
Max Broma, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The FCS stand for. Like I said, their run game as well is still just as strong. They picked up Bangora from Ohio State to go, like I say, so, and Darius Taylor, their running back. So they're going to have a sneaky good running back room this year.
Oh, just quickly tell them about Max Broma while you're here. Like he's got.
Max Broma, yeah, the prototypical pocket passer from University of New Hampshire. Like I say, stepping in, like I say, with about 6,500 passing yards in the last 2 seasons, with like 60 touchdowns, like 20 interceptions. Basically, the job's going to be gifted to him this year. And like I say, he's got one of the best potential receivers in the Big Ten. Very little pressure on him. Like I say, following up from Caleb Manis, who was terrible. Yeah, I think Broma could be one of the guys that actually does okay this year. Won't light up, but very safe bet from making the FCS to FBS transition. So yeah, a lot of people are going to watch him.
There you go. So you've got potentially a really good quarterback coming. You've got a really good left tackle. You've got a wide receiver one.
Really good pair of running backs as well.
Oh yeah, Bangora.
Ohio Bobcats running back Sire Bangora is coming in. He's had now 2,000 yards in the last 2 years, so that's a big jump up for him. That's gonna be fun to watch.
He's been a Mac menace, hasn't he?
And Bangora is going to be really fun to watch.
And is it Darius Taylor, the running back, who's leading
there?
Yeah,
so they've got a 1-2 punch that's really strong.
Oh, well, there you go then. You've got a quarterback, you've got a 1-2 punch, you've got a left tackle, you've got a receiver, you've got a kicker. I mean, this offense could legit be pretty good this year. So who knows? Big Ten is a land of opportunity now that there's been an influx of arrivals from the West. So yeah, I hope we've said plenty of nice things there about Minnesota. So hopefully, mile marker, you appreciate that. We'll try and if there's any more nice tidbits we can find out about Minnesota for you, we will do so. Brent says Lions still don't have a dependable kicker yet. No, we do not indeed. Right, I think that is about everything. I don't think there's any more questions in the chat for this evening. Mile marker goes, I'm happy. Yay, thank you. Well, we made someone happy this evening. Roaring Lions UK College Football Podcast has made one person happy today. That is a win in itself. In terms of future episodes, so future episodes are to be decided right now. Matt is going on holiday, so it will be reliant on me on doing the streams, and my system is still a bit hit and miss. So we will let you know when the streams are coming. I'm maybe going to be a complete sicko and do a small one after the preseason game tomorrow, a little roundup. If not, I'll do one on Friday because I'm off work all week. So we will do some kind of review of the Minnesota. Talking about Minnesota all the time now. Of the Giants game, be it really late on Thursday night or Friday morning, we'll do that. We will be back on Monday potentially, and then obviously me and Ryan will be back in a week. Finishing the Sun Belt conference preview before we get onto our predictions. So we've got a lot going on here. If there's anything you would like to see us do, just let us know. Fire it up, and we are always open to suggestions. Yeah, that is about it. Okay, one more before we go. Brent's asked us. Brent is always in here, and we really appreciate him. Do you expect the Michigan game plan to change this year under Sharon Moore?
No, that's why he was hired. It's going to be run the ball down your throat and then pick you off in the passing game.
Yeah, he's their offensive coordinator. Um, have they announced the starting quarterback yet? I think they're leaning towards Alex Orji, aren't they?
Yeah,
But
lean towards him. Yeah.
it's
They're going to make the most, they're going to just keep that perfect
so he's
65, 60, 40, 65, 30 run heavy.
so he's dual threat, isn't he? So he'll probably do
Yeah.
what McCarthy did. McCarthy did a little bit of running when he wanted
Yeah,
to
so
go
you'll see
scrambling
tight
out of the
ends, like say
pocket.
fullbacks, like say,
Yeah,
yeah, a strong dose of ground game, even with a QB.
yeah.
And then, yeah, a lot of Colston Loveland.
Mm. Michigan have no reason to change their game plan until someone can stop it. Don't change something that ain't fixed. No team came close to stopping that thing last year. So, don't fix what ain't broke. Expect it to be exactly the same there for them. Yeah, it's gonna be the same there, Brent. Right. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. Like I say, we'll see you a little bit later in the week to review the New York Giants preseason game for the Lions, and then me and Ryan will be back next week. I actually just realized we're going to be hanging around a minute because I need to let Matt know that we're done because he's doing the stream for us today. So I guess we can talk willy-nilly about anything while we wait, right? Floor is yours. Oh,
Who do you think, who is the non-G4 team, like say, that can have a serious crack at the playoffs, do you think?
oh, oh, they're coming from the Sun Belt, right?
Does it have to be Liberty?
No,
Are
no,
they,
no, 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 no. They're coming from the Sun Belt. The trouble is, the Sun Belt take wins off one another. Liberty can go through unranked. Sorry, unbeaten. Oh, I want to say this is the year of Appalachian State. Joey Aguilar is going to absolutely destroy everything in his path this year. It could be them, but are they going to lose too many games to sneak in? I don't see it being a Mountain West team. Unless, well, their rankings, if one of them beat Washington State or Oregon State, do you reckon that'll hold them instead? That's an
no,
odd one.
if I'm honest, probably not.
If you beat both, right? If you are like a
If you
one-loss
beat them
Mountain West
both, yeah.
champion and you beat them both, and you're a one-loss Mountain West champion, surely that is better than a undefeated CUSA champion, right?
Yeah, like a Fresno State.
But
If
can
they knocked
anyone
off
beat
both of
them?
them, then yeah.
Fresno State have just lost a head coach before the season. Boise depends on how the new quarterback
Yeah.
does.
Wyoming.
Oh, I don't think they've. Not sure. Um,
I mean, if
ooh.
Air Force won the Mountain West
And the
in the playoffs, not that'd be quite fun.
Air Force in the playoffs. Army. Maybe Army can make it for Brett. Oh, it's a
It's going to be
tough.
interesting, yeah.
I want to say a Sunbelt team will be the most competitive, but the trouble is with most competitive divisions, they're not gonna go unbeaten. So, oh yeah, no, screw it. I'll make my prediction. I think it'll be Appalachian State. I'm all over the Aguilar bandwagon. Who have you
I
got?
reckon we only get one ACC team. I reckon Clemson and Louisville. I reckon they miss out. I reckon they slip up.
I'm waiting for the NC State, Florida State one, just so it's going to be a nightmare.
I think
Um,
only the ACC winner gets in the playoffs. Even with all the spaces, I reckon everyone else misses out.
um, so how far? We're 2 weeks away. All right, let's just do a fun little one before we get out here. Let's look at the week 0 fixtures and see where the upsets come in, and then we'll get out here. There's only 4 of them. Only 4? There should be more than that. Just bear with me a moment. Fixtures, college football. Can't believe it's only 2 weeks away already. This time has gone quick. Schedule. Here we go. So we have East Tarleton, Montana State, Mexico. 4. Okay. So the first games we've got up. Let me go back to the other one. We'll do the 4 that ESPN have for week 0. Florida State at Georgia Tech in Ireland. Upset or
I think Georgia Tech, like I say, could give them some problems. Like I say, but yeah, I'd expect Florida State to win that.
okay. Montana State at New Mexico. Fucking FCS against low-level FBS here. Don't know what the Montana State guys have done this
I'm
year.
not sure
You
who's
are a
still
bit
there.
more
I don't know if
attuned,
Tommy
so
Mellett's gone. I'm not sure what their roster looks like right now because, like I said, they just had such a good year. Sent some guys to draft. That could be competitive. They can score quite a few points.
but no win.
No, because like I say, I feel like they're quite strong.
All right.
New Mexico State this year.
Okie dokes. Then what else we got? We've got SMU at Nevada, Delaware State at Hawaii. I don't know my Delaware State, but I want Hawaii to do well this year, so I don't want there to be an upset there. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. Come close to the time. I believe Matt is here now, so um hey, Kool-Aid Kid, hope you're doing well. We're just rounding out our show here, so apologies about that. But I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone has enjoyed the show. Like I say, we will be back very soon with a New York Giants review, and then me and Ryan will be back next week, finish the Sun Belt and do our predictions for the upcoming season. So have a great Wednesday. Hope you're well. Just remains me to say thank you, Ryan. We shall see you again soon. One Pride.